Okay, so this is going to be my first video for the Total Unarmed Fighting page, and I'm going to review UFC Fight Night 117, which I'm a couple days late coming in on it. I've had technical difficulties. Also, I've had some health issues, which has not allowed me to really get on here when I wanted to do it, which was the next day. And the fights aren't so fresh in my head anymore, so I'm going to go by memory and recap Fight Night 117. Now, keep in mind when I do this, I'm in no way a UFC expert. I'm in no way an analyst. I'm just your average everyday UFC fan that enjoys a good fight every now and then. So with that being said, here's my recap for Fight Night 117. Now, I missed the first three fights totally, which I hate that because from what I heard, they were all three finishes. And I came in at the end of the fourth fight, which I believe was a decision, but all that's irrelevant. So we'll start with the first one that I seen all the way through, and that was Justin Ledet and Zhuhai, which I don't know much about Zhuhai at all. Justin Ledet is pretty legit. I mean, he's a mean guy. He likes to fight. He's the guy you hit him in the face, and he seriously just like laughs at you and presses forward. Now that being said, it went to decision, which kind of surprised me, and from what I heard the announcer say, surprised them because Zoo did not have a bunch of cardio. He's a newer guy, and he's a big dude, so I was kind of surprised to see somebody of his stature go that long with the kind of punishment he took. Now, don't get me wrong, he took some punishment, but he looked good doing it. He has heavy hands. He threw a few flurries and went after Ledet. It looked really good. The thing that hurt him was Ledet pretty much laid back and just picked him apart with jabs and hooks, jabs and hooks, jabs and hooks. And at the end of the day, that is what got him the decision. It was a split decision, which he did not look happy with at all. He was kind of aggravated about that. But I mean, I can't say I disagree with it because I gave Zoo at least one round. But for Ledet to win that split decision, that actually now gives him a 3-fight win streak in the heavyweight division, and that's puts him up there with a couple other big names for a win streak. All in all, it wasn't a bad fight. I mean, it was a decent fight. Zoo just couldn't defend against the snaps of the jabs from Ledet. The next fight was Kamaru Usman and Sergio Moraes. This was a really good fight because both these guys have impressive win records, and both these guys are impressive fighters. Now, I think Moraes was undefeated since 2012 or so. He's had one draw since 2012, and the rest of them were wins. So he's basically got a 5-year win streak going on with one draw and all that. But he just couldn't get it going against Usman, who was very clearly the aggressor in that. Usman knocked him down a couple times and just kept going and basically just walked through all of his punches and backed him up into the fence, and he threw a couple flurries and then caught him with a mean right, and first round KO for Usman, who that moved him to 11-1, his last loss being in 2013. And after post-fight interview, he said, hey, he's a problem to the whole 170-pound division. He said, whoever wants him, come get him, and he ain't scared, he's ready for him. Looked impressive in that win, so I'd say he's really one to watch. Third fight that I've seen, in my opinion, was clearly fight of the night. It was Gregor Gillespie and Jason Gonzalez. Now, these two stood in the pocket the entire time and just beat the crap out of each other. I mean, I have no words. It's one, if you haven't seen it, go on your Fight Pass app, go on your YouTube, and look it up. Gregor Gillespie, Jason Gonzalez, I mean, it was ridiculous. The only thing that separated these two guys right here was Gregor Gillespie seemed to be able to take Gonzalez down pretty much at will. Whatever he wanted to slow it down, he'd do a level change, and boom, Gonzalez on the mat. Basically, they went all the first round with a great first round, and in the second round, basically is where Gonzalez kind of lost it. Gregor got him down and basically turned it into an arm triangle and got the submission in the second round, which that makes Gillespie 10-0 in his pro fighting career, and I believe 3-0 in the UFC. But again, clearly fight of the night, and from what I understand, from what I remember, they both got I think there was 4 fight of the night bonuses for two fights, and I think they got one of the fight of the night bonuses, and deservedly so. Next was Anthony Smith and Hector Lombard, which I'm not a big Hector Lombard fan, but he was actually holding his own pretty well against Smith. Anthony Smith was just it was like the first couple rounds he just let Hector hit him whenever he wanted to, and he wasn't really doing much. Hector was a clear aggressor, but Anthony finally found his groove in the 3rd round and started counter strikes, and he finally got a straight right, and he knocked Lombard down. And after that straight right, Lombard went down. I mean, he was right on him, and I thought it should have been stopped as soon as Lombard hit the canvas. But I mean, Mergliotta let him go a couple more punches, and then he called it, and that gave Anthony a 3rd round TKO. I mean, it was a decent fight, but I mean, it was hard for me to follow anything after that Gillespie and Gonzalez fight. Then we go to Mike Perry and Alex Reyes. I was pretty excited for this fight because Platinum is awesome and Alex Reyes is awesome. Only thing that hurt Reyes was he was looking more for counters, and he never got an offense started because he was trying to counterpunch, and that's really hard to do when you're in there with somebody like Mike Perry. You have to kind of go for it, or you're not going to get nothing because you can't counter much what he hits you with, and it showed because all Reyes got off with a couple low kicks, and then Mike Perry just demolished him with one of the nastiest knees I've seen in a long time, and knocked him out with that knee in the 1st round. And that was, like I said, that knee, I was like, God. But again, Mike Perry, awesome. Reyes is awesome. Reyes just, I think, fought him wrong. Again, just my opinion. And then that brought us to the main event, which I was kind of interested to see because Rockhold's been out for 15 months. And he fought David Branch, and Branch talked a lot of smack. He said he was going to hurt Rockhold. He's going to make him look stupid. He was just going to wipe the floor up with him. And it kind of didn't show because he didn't seem like he wanted to do anything except clinch up with him. And it was a slow fight. It was a sloppy fight, which I guess when you're out of the ring, out of the octagon 15 months, there's going to be some degree of rust when you come back in. And it kind of showed with Rockhold. He just looked lazy, like he wasn't interested in it, like he didn't want to be there. And he even got rocked a couple times early with a big flurry from Branch. And I thought it was over there for a second, but he actually persevered and came back through. And basically, the 2nd round, he was able to take Branch down. And they went back and forth for a minute, and he finally got his back. And once he got his back, he locked the body triangle in. And he was just raining down punches, and they finally stopped it when Branch actually tapped out to strikes, which I give Rockhold credit. He looked sloppy, he looked lazy, but, I mean, he got the guy to tap out to strikes, and that was the end of that one. So, I don't know, maybe Rockhold's going to come back and do something. Maybe he's not. It wasn't really an impressive fight in my mind, but, like I said, I'm just your average UFC fan with my own opinions. Up next is Fight Night 117, and it was supposed to be OSP and Shogun Hua. Hua is out, so Yoshino Kami is going to step in and fight OSP in Tokyo, which I think is going to be a really good fight. Yoshino Kami's one of the guys that I like, which I often forget about because I don't see him a lot. But I like OSP because another Knoxville native, played for UT, and he's got a nice little background with him. He fought John Jones and did very well against John Jones, even when Jones broke his arm. But, that's going to be the main event. Claudia Gadelha and Jessica Andrade is on the I think the co-main or semi-main or something like that. Semi-main, probably. I'm really wanting Andrade to take this one because I'm not a big Gadelha fan. But both of them, either one, when they win, depending on especially how impressive it is, I think will be up for another title fight against Jacek, which would be interesting. But I'm a Joanna fan, and I don't think either one of them can touch Joanna champion right now. So we'll see how that goes. And then Takanomi Gomi, who's coming in to fight Dong Hyun Kim. It's going to be another good fight, in my opinion, although Gomi has lost, I think, his last 4, and Dong Hyun Kim has won. He's 2-2 in his last 4. He's won 7 of his last 10, so we'll see how that goes. But again, Fight Night 117 is looking pretty good as well, and hopefully I can have something better for you on that one, because I'll do it the next day when it's still fresh in my mind, and I'm not having to try to scramble to remember what went on, what I've seen. But hey, thanks for looking, guys. Subscribe to our channel. Check us out. We're going to be doing a lot of boxing, a lot of UFC history, recaps, stuff like that. Thanks a lot, guys.